guys, welcome back to my channel. Mermaid Nina here. As promised, I am here to discuss all the things that have changed for Disney Cruise Line. So, as you probably have heard, Disney Cruise Line is back in business. They are 100% sailing with guests starting August 9th. But to do that and to comply with the CDC and the laws and everything going on, they've had to make a lot of changes for the better, to keep things kind of safer and cleaner on the ship. And a lot of things that are, well, not my favorite. But I am here just to give you guys the information, just to give you the changes. I am a travel agent and I had to take a pretty long, intense webinar to discuss and learn about all these changes. So these are kind of the key things that have come out for the upcoming cruises. No one knows what's going to happen down the line. No one knows when and if any of these things will in fact change again. And they haven't even really discussed what's going to happen for longer cruises. So this information I'm presenting right now is specifically for the Disney Dream cruises happening from October 9th through September 6th. And they are 3 to 4 night cruises. Again, we don't know how 5-night and 7-night cruises will play into this, although they are adding more cruises into the system because they did cancel a bunch of cruises. They did put more back that are in the 3 to 4 night range. I do believe one of them is a 5-night. So if all this stuff doesn't seem too intense for you, especially if you have older kids or you're all vaccinated or you're you're a couple without children, this could be a great time to cruise right now. So let's get into it. First things first is testing. So of course, you're gonna have to get a negative COVID test, but this is specifically for people who are not vaccinated. If you volunteer your vaccination card, you can basically skip out on the testing. But should you have anyone who is a kiddo who obviously isn't vaxxed, or if you choose not to vax, you are gonna have to get a test within 24 hours to 5 days prior to the cruise. And then again, you will be tested at port. Obviously, you need to pass the test and get a negative test. For those of you who are 12 and older and are choosing to not either present your vaccination card or are not vaccinated, the test will be $65 and will be charged to your room. Moving on from testing, masks. Masks will be required for all, vax or non-vax, indoors. This includes Castaway Key. So if you are in some areas of Castaway Key, like the bathroom or the storefronts, any sort of interior-like building, you will have to mask. So make sure you bring your mask to the ports. You also are going to have to mask at individual ports. Depending on what ports the ship will go to, you have to follow the laws for that country and that area. You will also have to mask for in any entry point. So basically on and off the ship, you will have to mask in, really crowded spots. All right, next thing, Kids Club. Now this one is kind of a downer for many people. Again, I am just presenting the information. Since Kids Club is indoors and since Kids Club is basically non-vax zone because the kids can't be vaccinated, they are being really cautious with Kids Club. So right now, you do need to schedule a time for your kiddo in Kids Club, and that can be done 30 days in advance. Your kiddo is allowed to be scheduled 1 time per day, and the schedule space is roughly 1.5 to 2.5 hours that your kid can be in Kids Club. I will note that there will be no dining in Kids Club like there used to be. And all the groups will be in more smaller groups or smaller pods, which is actually kind of nice because then the kiddos maybe get a little bit more attention from a crew member, from a cast member, which is kind of exciting. There will be no Small World Nursery. So this is unfortunate for anyone who has a child that is under 3 or is not potty trained. Other thing is if you have an older kid who can attend Vibe or Edge, no reservations for those older kiddos. So What this means is 30 days in advance, you have to decide if my kid is going to kids club and when. It will be first come, first serve per that scheduling. So even though you can try to sign up on the ship, it's obviously only going to be per availability. So knowing what you're doing and when will be really helpful when figuring out kids club. All right, they also announced no deck parties. I'm assuming this also means Pirates Night. So no sail away party, no Pirates Night, but they did say there will be fireworks. So that's pretty exciting. They will have 2 nights of fireworks that will be assigned. So you will either be night 1 or night 2, and fireworks will go off at 10:30. They are limiting, upper deck availability for the fireworks. And of course, they're going to try to socially distance everyone. But yeah, at least there's fireworks. So that's pretty exciting. Virtual queues. There is a lot of virtual queues going on. And of course, once these ships actually start sailing, we will get more info about that. But it looks like you will need to enter some form of virtual queue to get on the water slide, which makes sense. That way you're not standing around in a long line that wraps around the ship. You will need to get into a virtual queue to get on and off the ship for ports of call or Castaway Key. This also makes sense because there are times when you try to get off the ship and you're just flooded with people up and down the staircase. So it makes sense that they are trying to space it out. Of course, once the majority of people are off the ship, they will remove the virtual queue and you can just come and go as you please. Again, these virtual queues are designed for peak areas or times when people gather. So there's that. There's a new medical system that has come out that is going to be connected to the Disney webpage, but it's not by Disney. It's by a different diagnostics company. And this is where you will upload your negative COVID test, where you would upload your vaccination card if you choose to share that information. This is where you would upload any passports, birth certificates, and a picture of yourself, because originally when you would first get on the ship, they would take a picture of you and that's how they kind of identified you. At this point, you are going to be presenting them with a picture instead to kind of bypass some of those areas that were normally there when you would board the ship. So yeah, this new medical system is something you can access 33 days before your cruise. Next thing is cleaning. They have, of course, updated all their cleaning protocols, which includes a new purification system, which is great because if you think about a ship, right? Ship, it's all inside. So the fact that they've fixed kind of the filtration system and everything and all the air kind of blowing around to remove all the particles is indeed great. They've also had to reduce some of the housekeeping. So housekeeping will only come into your room 2 times now, in the morning and in the evening. And they absolutely will not come in, apparently, if you are in the room. A few times in previous cruises, they would knock when we're in the room and we would say, sure, come in, do whatever. Apparently they won't do that now. So big take right now is travel insurance is 100% mandatory for anyone who's not vaxxed. It is highly suggested for all guests. But if you're a family of 4 and 2 of you are vaxxed and 2 of you are not, you might as well just get the insurance for the whole group. So this travel insurance is very specific, the type of insurance you need to get. You need to get at least $10,000 in coverage for medical, $30K in emergency, and you need to not have any COVID exclusions or restrictions in your policy. So Disney is not only saying you need to have the insurance, but you need to have specific insurance. And of course, the Disney Cruise Line insurance that they already provide is the proper coverage. So to make things easier, you could just add the Disney Cruise Line insurance, or you can go ahead and find private insurance elsewhere. You just have to make sure it fits the nooks and crannies that Disney is requiring. Again, I'm just giving you the info. If you actually are booking a cruise and you need to get insurance, please don't take my word for it. Please make sure you discuss this with a travel professional, a travel agent, somebody you're booking with, and make sure you have the right coverage. I will not be held responsible because, well, Nina said I'm just telling you what I was told. Again, things can change. This is a very fluid, constantly changing situation. Characters. So of course, Disney Cruise Line is usually filled with characters. Well, just like at Disney World, characters will be socially distant. There will be no hugging and no signatures and all those great things. But Disney has promised characters will be everywhere. In fact, you can socially distant meet characters in a virtual queue that you can sign up for, which is pretty exciting. But one thing they added, which I loved, is they're going to do a character meal. Now, traditionally, character meals were only for 7-night cruises, like on the Fantasy. So for them to do a character meal on the Dream for a 3 to 4 night cruise is new and pretty exciting. But they are very much promising characters everywhere, characters at Castaway Key, characters on the ship, characters just roaming around. But it will be more of like the photo bomb situation as opposed to the running up and hugging them. Dining is going to be kind of like the way it was before. You will have your set server and all those great things, but they mentioned this in the webinar, which I thought was pretty funny. They said that many people were worried about not getting their ice cream. So Disney says, yes, you will get your ice cream. You will get your coffee and your soda. They're just saying most likely it's not going to be a self-serve. There will be a crew member there to help serve you, which of course is fine. They did say that in dining venues, it will be one family per table, which most of us prefer anyway. Before, you could be seated at a table for 10 and it could have been 2 or 3 families mixed together. Now they're saying they've spaced it out. It will be one family per table. And the menu will be accessible via the app. We're going to get into the app a little bit later, but 100% you will be doing most things on the ship on the app. Now, there will be still cabanas and there still will be food to get on the different decks. They are just basically saying no more self-serve. Everything is going to be crew serve, but I kind of expected that anyway. As you know, even at Disney World, all buffets are gone. Everything is kind of served by a cast member. So moving on to shows. Yes, they're going to have shows. In fact, specifically for the Disney Dream, they're going to have Disney Believe and Beauty and the Beast. Now, shows are going to be first come, first serve, most likely with some sort of virtual queue system. Like you sign up to go at 5 and the first people there will get seated in the front and so on and so forth. Once the room is filled, obviously, you know. But they will be social distancing the seating, and the shows will be multiple times a day. So you will have multiple chances to see these shows. And by the way, the Disney Cruise Line shows are phenomenal. They really are. So excited for that for sure. Navigator app. I promised I would get into that. So the Navigator app is an app they've always had. It's on the, you know, you get it on your cell phone. They've just beefed it up. This Navigator app is basically going to be your everything. It is going to house all your information. It's how you get in the virtual queue. It's how you check menus. It's how you do absolutely everything. So they are 100% suggesting as soon as you book a cruise to go ahead and download that app, because that is just your answer to everything. They specifically said there will be no wave phones anymore. They used to have special phones that would be in your stateroom that you could then take around the ship in case you wanted to call mom or dad or your kids and see where anyone is. Because they expect everyone to use this Navigator app, no wave phones. Of course, people asked, well, what if they don't have a cell phone? Or what if their cell phone isn't very, you know, strong with the Wi-Fi capabilities? Well, you still have a chance to go ahead and use your stateroom phone, call guest services, and make an appointment. Speaking of guest services, all of that will be on the Navigator app too. You can actually chat with guest services. And the nice thing about this app is they are going to be providing the Wi-Fi service only to use the app to be free. So you don't have to worry about paying for the Navigator app, which is nice. Okay, so port arrival. Typically, when you would arrive to the port, even though you did have to select a boarding time, you could kind of arrive whenever you wanted. Some situations you did have to wait a little bit. You kind of just sat out in the terminal and waited. They are saying no, don't do that. You will get a pre-scheduled arrival time, a boarding time, and that is when you show up. No early, no later. That is your time. People who arrive too early will be asked to leave. So in this situation, you got to follow the rules. You just got to do what they say. Moving on to Castaway Key. So Castaway Key is Disney's private island. And on the Dream, on these cruises I'm talking about, people are going to visit Castaway Key twice, which is pretty exciting. It's like doing a double dip, but for one cruise. So they did say that, yes, you will get food on Castaway Key, just like you always did, except it will be crew served versus self-serve. They did say that they will have a 5K, except the 5K will be individually run, but you still get the medal, which is pretty sweet. So you would get off the ship, run it at your own accord, come back and get your medal. They did say no hammocks. I'm assuming no hammocks because they're kind of hard to clean and sanitize. They did say yes on Pelican Plunge, which is pretty exciting. Pelican Plunge is like the playground slide area that's kind of in the middle of the ocean that all the kiddos love to do. So yeah, Pelican Plunge will still be available, which is exciting. And they said you can still sign up for private cabanas. So for those of you who have an extra several $100s, you can still reserve your private cabana. Last thing kind of on my list is debarkation. That is when you physically get off the ship. There's always been kind of a huge process for this, and this is just no different, except you are gonna have a scheduled time that you need to leave, and you need to follow that time. You will also get breakfast, so yes, cabanas will be open, as well as having a specific dining time that you can attend, kind of like before. And yes, they will transfer your luggage just like before, so you can choose to keep your luggage, take it with you, go through customs, whatever. Or you can choose to have Disney take your luggage down by putting it out the night before, as they always did. So my takeaway on this, a lot has changed. A lot of things people with younger kids might not like the kids club and the lack of nursery. But some of these other things I'm kind of okay with. I'm kind of okay with, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of being stuck on my phone all the time, but I get it. It's the way the world is going. It's the way the world is. I guess I get a little nervous because I'm the one that does everything on my phone, as my husband is like, what's an app? What do I do? So I kind of feel like I have to take care of everyone on my own app. So my big concern is, how do I communicate with him, who doesn't always, I don't know, pay attention, or maybe he has an older phone that might not be capable with the app. So these are the kind of things I wonder. I also kind of wonder what happens when you get to the port and you do test positive. Unfortunately, that can happen. So I am waiting for Disney to come out and announce more information regarding those specific kind of things. But yeah, I think if you are a family with older kids, everyone is vaccinated, this is a great time to cruise. I think if you're just some young adults and you want to enjoy a Disney cruise, this is a great time for that. Yeah, for people who are looking to just get away for a couple of nights, maybe you're local, you don't have to fly, you can just drive in. This could be a really good option for you. You just have to note that some things are changed. Some things are just a little bit more intense than before. You absolutely need to follow the rules and do everything they want you to do. You need to get those tests. You need to upload your tests. You need to download that Navigator app. You need to understand that everything is going to be accessible on your phone, just like kind of in the parks. And you can't really, there's going to be no parties. So it's going to be a different experience, but if you just want to lay around at the pool and kind of hang out, this could be a good option. But again, things are changing. They have yet to announce what the longer cruises will be like, and this could just be the introductory way cruises are happening, and then a couple of months down the road, maybe it'll change again. I don't know. I really don't know what to say, guys. It was a lot of information. It was a lot of information that Disney presented to us, and it was a lot of information that I had to kind of gather and present to you. Again, I am a travel agent. If you are looking to take a Disney cruise, please let me know, and I can kind of make all this make sense to you and help you book your magical cruise. But yeah, it kind of is what it is, guys. I hope this video helped you out, or at least, you know, I don't know. That's kind of it. It was a lot of information. And in case you're wondering, this is Shippy. This is my son's plush Disney cruise ship. He got it on his first cruise. I don't know if they still have this or not, but yeah, it's Shippy. We love cruising. We love cruising a lot. In fact, we have a couple of cruises on the books. I just have to decide if it's worth it for our family. Again, no judgment. I'm just presenting the information. I also have to decide if this is something we want to do right now, or if we would prefer to just go to the parks. So a lot of stuff to consider and think about. But anyway, guys, I hoped all this information kind of helped you out, or at least let you know what's going on right now. As always, I would totally appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel. If the subscribe button is red, please click it, turn it gray, hit the bell icon for notifications, like this video, and let me know what you're thinking about this. Again, a lot of information, and I didn't even present all the information. I kind of presented the information that stuck out in my head as being important, or things that people would want to know. But yeah, comment, let me know what you guys are thinking. Let me know if you're headed out on a Disney cruise. Perhaps you are just so excited to leave your house that you're willing to deal with these changes, which in the end, I always feel like the changes are scarier than they really are when you get there. Like, I remember when Disney World first opened and no one wanted to go because it sounded so restricting. We went, we loved it. It was literally the best trip we've ever had. So in the end, I wonder if the cruises is gonna be the same way. I'm wondering if it sounds a little intense right now, but when you actually do it, it's not that bad. That's what I'm hoping and thinking. Again, waiting for those first few cruises to indeed happen and get those feedback. But yeah, as always, guys, mahalo for watching. Nina out.